Hello everybody, once again, this is the Retro Bear beaming live from the Gaming Pantry for another thrilling episode of the tNb Gaming Podcast here on YouTube. Hope you're all well in this ever-evolving world with some fantastic news this week about a vaccine which is coming out. But if you're under the age of 50, there's a fat chance you ain't going to eat before June. But anyway, that's not the problem. One day it will come and hopefully life will start returning to normal. In the meantime, we're here to entertain you once again with our usual, I suppose, sort of trademark of inane banter, babble, and tangents, which we hope you'll enjoy. What we've been up to since we last spoke to you in terms of gaming. A topic of the week, which we've just decided upon in the last 5 minutes. If you are new to the podcast the first time, do hope you enjoy what you hear, and there are archived episodes on this channel to go through. 26 episodes, I think it's episode number 27 now, 26 episodes previously, and I'm sure you'll find something amongst those. If you're here for the first time as well, format is very, very simple. I'm Retro Bear, I host the chat, and I'm usually joined by a couple of 3-4 people, whoever's available, depending on what they're doing in terms of work-wise. Reference, just having a bit of a chat, and it's a rotating panel of 5. I'm very pleased to say that we've got a couple with us tonight. Unfortunately, Nath Retro 1, Pete Fighter 2 and Rollercore can't be with us this week, but we do hope they'll be with us in a couple of weeks' time for an episode which I'll talk about right at the end of the broadcast. In the meantime, let's bring in our first panellist of the evening, or the day, or whatever time it is you're listening to this, and it's Retro Games Revive. This is Sean. Hi, Sean.
Hello, mate. How are we doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Nice to have you on again.
Yes. I always say, but it always seems to be a long time in between spells of doing this. So, but yeah, I'm here tonight.
That's good. That's good. It's a pleasure to have you here, because
Thank you very much.
People do ask why you don't come on some more often, and we just kept saying he's a miserable bugger. But I don't know. It's just it's not that I want to try in, but no, I know you've been like everybody else has at the moment. You've been really busy, so it's great to have you here, mate, and it's nice to have you back on again.
Thank you.
On the other side, I saw the virtual table, because we are doing this remotely from our own sort of bedrooms, stairs, cupboards, sheds in the garden. It is the rising star of YouTube himself, ladies and gentlemen. He's Gernaldinho Plays. It's Rob.
Howdy, Mr. Bear.
Howdy, Rob. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you. And how can you even joke about Sean being miserable? The guy is always happy. And happiness is always around him, because you can't help but be happy around the man that is, the legend that is Sean.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually great to be sat here with the rising star of YouTube and yourself, the happiest man on YouTube over here, and me. Yeah, that's it. We've also got the sexiest man on YouTube as part of the panel, but he's not here tonight.
Oh, I have.
No, yeah. The irony of calling Sean a miserable so-and-so is just one, because we all know he isn't, and two, I just wanted to take the mick out of being unspoken to him for ages. You know what I mean? It's one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have you been keeping well anyway, Robert? Yeah.
It's been all right.
Great, thank you for that. That's brilliant. That's oh dear. So
I always struggle with the question, "Are you all right?" Because it's like, How else do you expand on that?
Not to think, not this is that moment in time, as I feel all right now. Yeah, all right in general. That's good.
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. All's well. I hope you're well as well, by the way.
Oh, a bit of a. I don't know. I've had a bit of a pain in my back today. I think I tweaked my back slightly, which is. It's where I sit at work. It's just not very comfortable, and also it's got a bit colder now, so it's cold at my end of the office, and I think I just got a bit of a muscle spasm in my back or something. So I hope that doesn't develop into something else, because I do have a bit of a problem with my back every now and again. So might be early Christmas holiday. If I pull it really badly, I can stay at home. Right. So again, if you've not heard this before. What we tend to start off is with go around and what people have been playing since we've last spoken to them, or since the last podcast that we've done. I always start with Rob, because he's always got a large list, because again, if you don't know Rob, and there will be a link in the description below to his channel, he's very much into his pursuing his gamer score target, which we always ask him about as well. Now he plays an awful lot of games to try and achieve that. So on that thread, I'm going to throw it over to Rob and say, what have you been playing, Rob?
Well,
Yeah, there's an introduction.
Well, the list is long that I could take up the whole show talking about everything because.
And it is a show. It is a show.
I think I don't know if I mentioned it last episode, but I said what gamer score I was on, and that I wasn't far off 600,000. And roughly about halfway through this month, I thought, do you know what? If I go on one of my sort of purges of hitting all the indie games and finding the easy gamer score games and that, I could possibly hit the 600k by the end of the year. So I had a bit of a decent second half to the month of November, and quite annoyingly was just under 30,000 for the month. It was like 29,850 or something.
Weren't you at 564 last time?
I can't remember exactly what I said to you.
I'm sure it's something like that.
It must have been, because I literally was kind of just sort of cruising my way through the month. I picked up a bit, obviously, as I do. I haven't got over 10,000 in a month for absolutely ages, but I've decided to go for it, and I've started this month off a little bit slow, but I'm going to go for it in the middle sort of spell as well, and make sure I hit 600,000 by the end of the year. But the reason why I can't talk about every game I've played is, there are some games that aren't just indie games, so we'll leave those to last. But if I read a list of indie games, and I'll talk about one that perhaps I like, and if any of the names catch either of your two's attention, you can ask about them, because there's a few.
That sounds fair enough. You all right with that, Sean? You all right with that, Sean?
Absolutely fine, mate. Yes.
Yeah,
right,
there we go.
Here we go. We've got Castle of No Escape, Castle of No Escape 2, Sig.Null.
Hang on. Castle of No Escape and Castle of No Escape 2. So therefore, there must have been a demand for a second one after the first one. So what's so good about the first one that made a second one?
You've got Sig.Null, More Dark, 50 Years.
He's glossed over that, hasn't he?
Vera Blank Full Moon, which is a visual novel. Don't talk about that one, it's crap. Smart Moves, Micetopia, Get Over Here,
Micetopia,
Aborigines, The Explorer of the Night, Reactor X, 112th Seed, BFF or Die, One Word by Palgi, and Inferno 2 Plus, and that's just the indie games.
Never heard of one of them.
So,
did you make half of those up? You just sort of wrote stuff, words that came in your head.
That's what I love about indie games. Some of the names are just brilliant, and to be honest with you, they're not even some of the funniest ones I've had.
But BFF or Die?
Yeah, that one's that's that one you need 4 controllers for, and thank God I've
what?
You need 4 controllers to get all the gamer score on that one. Or is it no, wrong one. That's they all do merge into one at some times. No, that was Get Over Here. I needed 4 controllers for. I take that one back.
Get over here.
Seeing as BFF or Die has caught your mind, we might as well talk about that one. That one was all right. It was like you're this little guy, and there's this maze in front of you, but you have like basically a piece of equipment which you control at the front of the level. Like at the first few levels, it's a spotlight. And you control the guy around the maze, collecting all these what are called Orbeez, and then you have to get all of the Orbeez in the maze, and then go back to the beginning where there's another one of your mates, and you basically high-five him, and that ends the level. And sometimes they're a bit shut off, so you might have to walk over switches. And then after a few levels, you get the ability to use a crane, which means you can pick your guy up and drop him in another section. And then all of a sudden, the enemies come out, which in this case are mummies around these mazes. And you can pick them up as well, so you can drop them into little sections where they can't get out and get you, and things like that. And then after that, next few levels later, you get this ability to shoot out these magnetized drones, and they go over them, so that when you go up, they go up. And when you go down, they go down, and obviously so on and so on. And that way you can control them when they're in other sections if you want them to stay in a section but walk over a switch for you. It's it was actually quite fun, actually. I quite enjoyed that one.
But where does the name come from?
I don't know. Because you high-five the guy at the end. So basically, if you don't come back to him, I'm guessing he's your friend, perhaps your best friend forever. So right. if you don't go back and high-five him, you die. So it's get back to your BFF or die. I mean, that's all I can assume they're going with.
If I'd piss on anybody's cornflakes, but it sounds like a bit of a loose premise to me, that one.
What the title?
Oh, yeah.
It's actually a really fun game. Of all the games I played, you've sort of gone over a good one there.
It sounds like it does sound like a good game, but I'm just wondering where the hell the titles come from.
Yeah, that's indie games for you. But Micetopia was quite a good one. That's a very Metroidvania style game with obviously with a mice or a mouse. Sorry, you're only one person. It's a lot of fun navigating your way through it and trying to get to certain areas by unlocking abilities and switches, and then beating a boss and moving on to the next area. That one was quite fun.
Did any of those titles catch your eye, Sean, or your ear? I suppose, if you say
any of those names.
Any of those. You know that list of games Rob read out about 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Did anything sort of catch your ear on that one? Or
I'd never heard of any of them games, so no, not really. Not stood out.
Can I ask about one more?
Go on then.
112 seed.
112 seed.
Which is what you usually hear sort of like during Wimbledon fortnight or something like that.
So that's normally what position the highest ranked English person is, isn't it? Sorry, Tim and Greg and Andy, you're Scottish. Go away.
Tim and Greg. Good. How old's that going back?
But no, it's you'll be shocked to hear this. It's basically a puzzle game where you play as a seed, obviously a walking one, and you have to get into the end of the level by pushing blocks to help you jump up certain heights. But also there's these sort of fixed sections in the ground which are obviously only 1 block wide, which are piles of dirt. But there is also sort of bubbles of water which you can push around, and then you push the bubble of water into the earth, and then your seed can dive into the earth, make a plant grow out of it, which then gives you sort of another platform to go and help you jump up sort of 1 level higher. And then obviously that will help you navigate to this platform at the end which you've got to stand on, and then it just morphs you out of there and you move on to the next level. But as a fun game. Actually. It really was. It's just a shame that again, the achievement worlds, I mean, I'm sure devs do it, especially with indie games, on purpose to make it easy. You only have to finish the first 30 levels to get all the achievements. It's literally get to beat level 1, get to 5, get to this, get to that, and then the last one is level 30. But there are more levels beyond that, so it's just a shame that they don't encourage people to play their games a little bit more, in this case where the games are actually that good.
Yeah, are any of them retro looking, Rob? Have they got that like retro feel to them, like a 16-bit era look to them, or are they like all up-to-date kind of graphics?
No, a lot of indie games are actually like that. I mean, 112C does look very, very 16-bit, as does the game React to Rex. The Explorer of the Night, that was a side-scrolling platformer, very 8-bit style, very easy as well.
Yeah.
And things like that, yeah. Micetopia had a very sort of, I would say 16-bit look about it, as did Smart Moves, which was a top-down Zelda-type game.
Right.
But yeah.
I don't like that style.
Yeah, even the game called More Dark, where you play as the devil, is a side-scrolling platformer, which is 8-bit. But yeah, great fun.
At any point when playing Micetopia, did you think this is a bit cheesy?
Oh, for God's sake, here he goes.
Sorry. It's been a difficult week. I spent a lot of it on my own. I let's get it out of my system.
Anyway, that's all the indie games all bundled up there into one quick list with branching out a few. 3 games out. Oh, actually, there's 4, isn't there? 3 games. Metal Slug 3. That's a simple one. Everyone knows Metal Slug.
But Metal Slug, it's not simple. No, it's not.
No,
it's incredibly difficult. Yeah.
But I must admit, I thought I played all the Metal Slugs, but there's a level underwater in this one, and I can never ever remember playing a Metal Slug where there was a level underwater. So I'm wondering if I never actually played Metal Slug 3. I thought I played them all, but yeah, brutally tough. I think I used. I think I might have kept it down to about 150 lives to complete the game.
Well, you got through it. Good grief, that's.
But unlimited credits, yeah. But
yeah,
I'd say of all the Metal Slugs I've played, this one was more brutal than ever. It really was. I mean, the first one, I remember like maxing me credits out to 99 and finishing it before I'd completely run out. Not this one. I had 99 to start with, and I had to fill it up again. And it just seemed to go on and on. It really did.
I'm sure there's somebody in the world somewhere who's actually completed that.
Well, 1 credit. Yeah, right.
Well, there must be somebody somewhere, surely.
There's no way you can finish that on 1 credit.
I'm with you, but I'm sure there's got to be somewhere. Somebody somewhere has done that.
There's someone who studied the game meticulously then and been rather obsessive about it. Yeah,
we could all complete games with 1,600 credits. That's that. That's it's a patience to have going through and getting it done, isn't it?
Yeah. Next game I played. Well, this was because of the Black Friday sale. I would never in my life have paid 30. I think it was $33.99 was its original price, but I paid $4.79 for this in the Black Friday sale online, and it was Nickelodeon kart racers. Now, it's a kart, yeah, but do you know what? I don't even care what the category is. If it's a good kart racer, it's a good kart racer. That's brilliant. So yeah, I'm not being funny. Unfortunately, it's got the turtles in it that I hate. That too kiddie-looking, very user-friendly ones, and the SpongeBob characters and the Rugrat characters in it. And I thought, yeah, this could be fun if it's a good game. I had heard bad things about it, but I thought, I want to judge for myself. What I always think about kart races is, at the end of the day, the benchmark in kart races is very high. So you're going to get, as soon as you make a kart racing game, you're going to get compared to Mario Kart. You're going to get compared to Crash Team Racing. And as we've touched on before, you're going to get sort of compared to perhaps Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed as well, because that's as good. There's your benchmark 3. And if you make a kart racer, you're going to get compared to that. And this, unfortunately, didn't just fall short of the line. It's so far back it can't bloody see the line, stealing lines from Friends there. Yes, I am, if you watch Friends. But it was I mean, the power-ups are very similar to Mario Kart ones, but it didn't seem to be as good somehow. And unfortunately, I've always said about the 3 games we've just mentioned, they've always had a nice selection of tracks, as in a nice amount and variety for them not to get boring and repetitive. Unfortunately, this game doesn't do that. You race the first 2 cups, and then you end up going through the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th and the 6th, and you're thinking, bloody hell, every track feels the same. Yeah. If it's a track on road, it feels like the same. If it's a track on, their sort of river levels are actually slime, and they all feel like the same as well. It's actually got an All-Stars Racing Transform element about it, in the fact that it can combine the 2 in a track as well. No, it falls majorly short of the mark. It really does.
What characters were in? You say that you got SpongeBob and you got turtles and...
Yeah, you got all 4 of the turtles. When you got SpongeBob, you've also got Patrick, is it, as well in it? And you've got Sandy, who's the squirrel.
Yeah, the squirrel,
You've got Hey Arnold's in it, and Helga. You've got
what?
Hey Arnold, football head.
Yeah, I know Hey Arnold. Yeah.
Helga is the girl in it as well, isn't it? The one that pretends that she doesn't like him, but she actually is in love with him. And then you've got the Rugrats, Tommy, Angelica, no Chucky, but you've got Reptar in it from the Rugrats as well. So yeah, if you like Nickelodeon, all the characters, a lot of the
that it.
A selection of the characters is there. Yeah, I was going to say it just fell short, really.
I
like kart races, so I was still intrigued to try it, and it was a waste of time.
But you've got to give it a go, mate.
When was the last time Hey Arnold was relevant? Rugrats was at least 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, they went on for years though. They're still well known to this day.
That seems like a crap, basically, to be honest with you. And I'm the master of sort of crap games and licenses, but even I'd be struggling to sort of find the merit in buying that one. But as you said, it's a kart racer, so you like that sort of genre, you'd pick it up. So
the only other thing I played wasn't on my Xbox, and you might have seen my video on it, and that was Rambo 2 on the Master System, which turns out to be a completely other game in this country, which I didn't know about.
Yeah.
That's it, Secret Command. I had no idea. I booted up my awesome gift from Santa Sean, which is the OG Xbox, original Xbox, with all those libraries on it, and I was like, I want to play a Master System game, and I just saw Rambo, and I was like, I want to play Rambo. I had no idea that it was Secret Command in this country, because my Master System knowledge is shocking.
You could have picked Rambo 3.
That's a light gun game. I have actually played that, I think.
Is it?
I don't think it works on the on the modded Xbox.
Is it a strictly light gun game?
It's like Operation Wolf, isn't it?
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't know.
I don't think it'll work because I've only got a controller and there's no gun set up. So.
I thought it was meant to be a bit more like the Mega Drive version, which was a sort of shooting sequence and.
But Rambo 2 or Secret Command is a lot of fun. It's brutal, but it's a lot of fun. It gives it that one more go element about it, because you're like, right, I'm going to do better this time, and then you don't. So you have another go, and then you do a bit better. And you think, I can still get better, and then you did as bad as you did the first time you played it. You know what I mean? It's just, one more go. And after I made that video, I was playing it for 2 hours, and I never really got that much further than I did to start with. It was like, I can do it. Got past the blue tank once and killed the bastard. The bugger.
I saw that video. Yeah, I've got that. I picked that game up back in February, I think it was. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That title screen's amazing as well.
Yeah, it benefits from 2 players, does that game?
I've got no friends here, so you all live in the Midlands and above.
Well, you don't need 4 controllers then, Sean. I take it, like some of the games that Rob's been playing this week. Yeah.
Not 4, no.
I was going to say, it's lucky I had the Series X is backwards compatible controller with the Xbox One, because I've got 3 Xbox One controllers, so I was able to do those 4-player achievements by myself. It's basically get a triple kill in an arena game. How are you going to, against the computer, that's going to be brutal. Against 3 other people that are generally trying, it's going to be brutal. But yeah, set out with 4 controllers, bunch them all up together yourself, and just go out and kill them all in one go. Achievement unlocked. I say, before we move on to Sean, because you always ask, and I'm prepared this time.
Yeah.
Current gamer score, you're going to ask?
No, actually, Sean. No, go on. No,
yes. It's gone. No. Spoil it for everybody.
No, we always ask.
My arms are firmly crossed and I'm sulking. No, it's okay. No, it's 600,000. I reckon will happen. I'm on 587,130. So just under 13,000 to go, and I got 30,000 last month. So I've got no excuses.
So technically speaking, by the time we do the next episode, you should be there then.
Pressure. That's like 2 weeks. I said the end of the year.
That's 1,000. What's it? Where are we? 587. Yeah. So it's 1,000 a day.
Indie games cost money as well. They're not free. I don't just have money to throw around.
Start a Patreon. Help me get to a million gamer score.
Never.
He's thinking about it.
Never. No, don't even joke about that. Never.
Yeah. Sean, right, let's come to you then. So usually I ask you this and you say Call of Duty and then we move on, but I'm hoping this time that you'll be able to sort of say I've been playing something as well as Call of Duty. So what have you been up to?
I've been playing something as well as Call of Duty. You'll be pleased to know.
Wow. There we go.
Right. No, I mean, I have been playing COD, and as I was telling you earlier, I've kind of got annoyed with it. I'm sulking at the minute. I've got my arms crossed, Rob, as well at the minute with COD because
the sulkiest podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, because I just cannot seem to get another win. We've done duos, trios, quads, and it just ain't happening. Whether other players have just got a lot better than us, or we've got worse, or luck. I mean, a lot of times it is a lot of luck where the circles fall, where you land, but it's just not happening. And I've been getting really frustrated with it. But luckily,
how many wins have you got on it so far?
I've got 21 wins.
Out of how many games?
Oh,
I lost that. How your friends are, right, Sean?
No, I'm just interested to know. I'm
I mean, when did we start playing it? Back in pretty much March, pretty much lockdown, wasn't it, or just before? And I've give it some hammer. I really have. So yeah, I played a lot of games and 21 wins. One solo in there, which I'm quite proud of, because obviously, it's you against 150. You've nobody to back you up. You've just got to do it yourself. But yeah, what happened was, we both got PS5s on launch day, me and Joe. Now, Joe had hers straight away, and I said, no, I want mine send it to Santa. I want to be able to open it on Christmas morning like a big kid.
Yeah.
But I was having trouble with my headset. There were a lot of interference coming through. And at first, we were like, whose headphones are? Who's all interference coming from? And first, we couldn't work it out. And it was Joe, she says, every time you're moving your controller, it's like clicking. It's like it's reacting to your controller. It must be your headset. So we're doing some tests, and then we thought, it's not the headset, it must be the controller. So I'm blowing into connection where headphones go into, trying to clean it out, to no avail. It was still doing this interference kind of noise, this buzzing, humming. And then I forget exactly what we did, but we Joe tried her controller and tried her headset. It was still doing it. I said, you know what? I said, I bet it's the PS4. I reckon the PS4's pretty much had it. I bet there's a fault with it. So my good wife, bless her, she said, "Oh, well, if PS4's brought, that means you might have to get your PS5 out." Good idea.
Oh, damn it!
Oh, damn it! It's not going to Santa. It's out.
You are Santa. It's fine.
Yeah. So I've set it up, and to be honest, I'm glad I did, because on the PlayStation Plus, there's about 20 games that you can get free. Some really good titles as well. Last of Us, Infamous: A Second Son, etc., etc. A few cheaper titles as well. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna come off COD for a bit till I finish sulking, and I'm gonna play some other games. And one of the games I started off with, well, the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. It's free.
Oh, right,
PlayStation
yes.
Plus.
Nice.
So yeah, I've been having a good old platforming session on Crash, but I'm sure I did this a while ago when it was first released. It's a lot harder than PS1 version.
Do you know
for
what?
Some reason.
I found that because I got it on the Switch and I was playing that a few months back, and I remember thinking these jumps here seem to be far more difficult than I remember when I played it when it came out originally.
Exactly my problem as well. The jumping, for some reason, it's really
precision, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you find like I did? It was very easy, sort of going along. You was picking up these extra lives and everything, and it's like, yeah, it's actually this. I remember it was quite easy now. This,
yeah.
And all of a sudden, you got to a certain point where just like the difficulty level just increased.
Yeah,
and you sort of like saw these lives just like disappear one by one. Yeah, was that the same for you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, God, thank goodness for that. I thought it was just me.
You know, I tell you, I even struggled on the first boss, Papu. Could I else beat him? No, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I had to look on Google to find out how to bloody beat him. I knew he had to jump on his head. Well, I thought you had to jump and spin attack his head. It turns out you only have to jump on him, and that was the trouble. You see, I was jumping and spinning, and it weren't doing it. It was Crash was just bouncing back off him, and I'm like, for God's sake, what's wrong? And I had to Google it, and yeah, it's just a case of when he whacks his stick down, you jump on his head about 5 times to kill him off. Yeah, some of the levels
sounded so wrong. Oh dear.
Yeah, crikey! What they've made Crash harder, and also, to be honest,
have they made it harder? Have we just got worse?
Oh, we just got worse. Cool, I know, mate. To be honest, I found it easier using the D-pad than the actual analog joystick.
You know,
I think, yeah.
I again, exactly the same thing as well.
Yeah.
I kept having to, if I was playing, I can't remember. There were certain points in the game where I would just stop using the analog stick and use the D-pad.
Yeah.
Because it was easier to control. I don't remember doing that on the original one either.
Yeah. Is these like metal boxes and the bounce you bounce up, and you bounce from one to another. And using the analog stick, I was losing it completely. I was overshooting the box. Using the D-pad, I was hitting it pretty much every time.
That didn't happen originally. I don't remember that happening at all.
No.
When I first played it, it was one or the other, wasn't it? You know, combination of both.
Yeah, it was it just seemed so much easier on PS1, the original game. But yeah, I haven't tried the second or third one yet. I haven't got to them, obviously. So I'm still on with Crash 1 at the minute. But in between, I thought I came across Worms Rumble. I don't know if you've heard of Worms Rumble. Basically, it's Battle Royale with the franchise Worms. And I thought, I'll give this a try. You know,
never heard of it. You know. It's like the 20th, game in the Worms series. This or something.
Yeah, it will be. And from the screenshots, it did look good. again, it's another control problem. It's hard as nails, and I had a couple of games in with people, other gamers, who've obviously played it a lot, and I just got annihilated. So that was a brief spell on Worms Rumble, and then lastly, and I've actually kind of sidetracked Crash into background for the time being. Uncharted 4. What a game. What an absolute cracking game. Really is. Have you managed to play any, Rob, yet? The Uncharted series?
No, I haven't. I only bought all 3 2 years ago and have them sat on the floor over there, but unfortunately that's
play them, mate.
That's my Xbox side of my achievement hunting. It's very hard to squeeze anything else in.
Yeah.
It's sat next to The Last of Us as well and things like that, waiting to be played.
Yeah, I've played all Uncharted games a couple of times, but I'm really appreciating this game a lot more. Uncharted 4, it looks amazing still. Really does look great, and it's easy to pick up. I've got aim assist on, but to be fair, sometimes in certain scenes where you're having to fight against all these multiple enemies, and it's not like COD really where they're just in front of you. These are coming side of you and behind you. It gets quite hectic. So all right, I've got aim assist on, but it's still pretty challenging. But it's the exploring sections as well that make this game, and the acting. It's really good acting for a computer game. There's no cheesiness about it, and it's quality. It's absolute quality game. I love it.
They're very good game series.
They are. But that's what I've been playing, Russ, lately, and I'm really enjoying a change from bloody COD.
Yeah, that must be a record. That must be a record. It's great to hear that you've sort of expanded and playing some of the other games.
Yeah.
That Worms one's interesting. So, because last Worms game I played, I think it was Worms Blast, PlayStation 2, and that was like, it wasn't even a Worms game. It was just like a series of mini games or something. I just remember being complete cack.
I still love the original Worms.
Oh, the original's great. Yeah. I had that when it first came out on PlayStation 1. I went out and bought it, and I used to love that, but I think they just evolved into was it Worms in Space? There's one on the Wii, isn't there? Worms Space Oddity, that's it, yeah. Worms Mayhem and Worms 3D.
I mean, I'm glad to see that even in Worms Rumble, they've still kept the exploding sheep. Oh dear!
Have they still got the concrete donkey weapon as well?
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I didn't see that one, Rob.
It's exactly what it says. They literally dropped this huge, giant concrete donkey out of the sky, and it just completely falls through the level and destroys everything in its way.
I've not seen that.
Was that by Team 17 originally?
Team 17,
yeah.
Yeah,
there's a name for the Amiga days.
Yeah, definitely.
Alien breed and.
I think they've spoiled it a little bit with Rumble, in all honesty. It's not Worms. It just isn't Worms. It's not turn-based. It's Battle Royale, so it's everything's just, going off all at once. And for me, Worms should be turn-based.
Yeah.
Surely they can do a Battle Royale kind of game turn-based.
I suppose it's just a franchise trying something new, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is.
But it isn't Battle Royale the way things go now anyway?
I think, well, I suppose it is. Everybody's jumping on that kind of genre now, aren't they? Online, anyway, especially.
Turn-based, a bit old hat now, I suppose.
Yeah. What, we have to wait for a go? No, not having that.
Yeah. What, we have to what's that? A tape? We have to put that in the press play.
Play.
Yeah, and then what happens? You go make a cup of tea. Come back in 10 minutes' time, and if you're lucky, it's loaded. If not, you're going to start all over again. Yeah.
Try it on the side.
People don't even know what they are, do they? That's the people are looking at things like that now. They've got no idea what it is. No. That makes it sound incredibly old.
Now I turn the Series X on, and this literally happens to me. I turn it on first, and it's already a go before I've even turned on the TV. As I picked, I literally turn the Series X on, pick the remote up, press the TV on, and it's already ready. It's already good to go.
Crikey.
It's mental. And you think back in the day, you used to wait half hour, 45 minutes for a tape on a good day.
Yeah, not in a cartridge.
No,
put the cartridge in, turn it on, it's there.
Yeah.
This is a bit of a tangent. I thought of this the other day. It's funny you mentioned cartridge as well, because we've been talking about, ever since we went to disc-based, like with the PS1, Dreamcast, Saturn and all like that, everyone's been talking about how the load times are getting better. But back in the day, when we had the 8 bits and the 16 bits, our loading was instant, because we used to put the cartridge in and turn the system on. And I just think, isn't it incredible how we've sort of slowed everything down, and now we've got to this point of where the load times are getting really quick, but there's still load times. Back in the day, you had to wait for the Sega thing to bugger off on the title screen, and then you were good to go.
Right.
So, it's just one of those things that I was sort of just randomly thinking of when I was bored at work.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I mean, hard at work.
Interesting thought to have when you sit there bored at work, you know. Yeah. But I heard that about the new consoles that are coming out, and I was sort of saying, well, I'm going to see, like exactly you said there, Rob. It was more instant years and years ago. Even going back to the Atari 2600, cartridge in, turn it on, bang, it's there.
That's just evolution for you, I suppose.
Yeah. And then we sort of see to go backwards, tapes and the 3.5-inch floppies. But the quality and the size of the games got bigger and better.
And
that's all about load times.
Yeah, and then people say, but if someone said to me, "Oh yeah, you must buy this new fantastic £800 console or how much it costs because the game loads a bit quicker," I'm sitting there thinking, "I ain't selling me the console, mate."
No,
I'm happy to wait. I don't mind that as long as it loads. I don't mind. But you're not going to sell me a brand new spanking machine. The fact that the game loads a bit quicker.
I've actually just forgot. I've actually played another game.
Oh, good grief!
Sorry.
Not this week, isn't he?
It's all right because between you and me, nobody else is listening. I played nothing this week, so as long as he keeps going, it's all right.
I'm making up for you. It's the one that came with the PS5, Astrobot.
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 Brilliant, yeah.
And it's really good, but it's more of a tech demo, I'd say. It's showing off the features of the controller. And I must admit, some of it's pretty good. On one, you have to blow into the controller to move things. There's also the adaptive triggers, which you've got this little crossbow. He gets hold of this little crossbow, and there's resistance, to press it. Pretty good. I sense probably a little bit quirky at the minute, and is it going to be something that game developers are going to continuously use, or are just going to, get bored and say, oh, well, let's just concentrate on the game rather than all these sensory things for the controller. So yeah, Astrobot, I think it's whatever it's called. I think it's more of a tech demo showing off the features of the new controller. Yeah, I must admit I like the new controller. I wasn't sure at first when I saw the original designs and what have you that they were showcasing. I thought, it does look a bit weird, but it is really comfortable.
How does it differ to the PS4 one?
It fits more snugly around your palms. To be honest, it's chunkier. I think it is anyway. I think it's chunkier. It does feel nice, to be honest. I'd say it's better than the PS4 controller. I'd say it's the best yet. I really would.
I would expect so because evolution over time is.
Yeah.
You hope that machine which loads a bit quicker.
Yeah.
You expect the accessories and get better as well to improve that experience as you go along.
That's it. But I just hope game developers will, implement these features of the controller.
Well, I mean, 6 axis was such a success, wasn't it?
I mean, the 6 axis. Well, this is where you move the controller.
You tilt the controller on it.
Yeah. They're still showcasing that on the Astrobot game.
Give up. It's no one's using it. Give up on it. It's a waste of time.
That's what I mean. It's like the pad on top of the controller. Obviously, it's supposed to be touch sensitive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, I really can't see game developers using that much in a game. Probably kids' games, where you might have to. It's some kind of cartoony game where you've got to draw, weapons or something to use and that kind of thing. But I really can't see COD implementing anything like that. No. You see, your more serious games.
I mean, I played Astrobot the VR on the PlayStation 4, and that was really the only VR game I've played so far. But that was I was quite impressed by that.
Yeah. But,
I'm still not buying a PlayStation 5, so.
Not for at least 15 years.
No, well, there'll be a bucket somewhere with a load of them in at some point, I'm pretty sure. So I'll be 60 in 15 years' time. It's unlikely I'll be buying a PlayStation 5. Be more likely buying, I don't know, prune juice or something like that, keep me going.
How's Xbox Series X been doing you then, Rob? Is it impressive?
Yeah, mate. I was going to say I've gone from the original Xbox One, the original model, to this. So for me, it's just a major jump. It's just ridiculous, Like I said to you about it turning on. But again, we go back to load times. Basically, it is mental. Like you play a 360 game on it, and the load screen might as well not be there in some occasions. That's like how are you getting that out of a disc-based game? That's mental.
Yeah.
But no, we're still truly waiting to see the power of it game-wise. I'm not blind to that. But
no,
when I probably would have been perhaps a little bit underwhelmed if I jumped from the. Let's get this right, the Xbox Series 1X rather than just going from the original one, because the load times on the 1X were pretty impressive anyway.
Yeah.
But because I've made that jump, then wow, it's mental.
Yeah.
I wonder why Xbox having a series of stupid names after their consoles, because it often get confusing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You got the 360, the Xbox One, and then the Xbox Series X1.
See, you're done again.
I see. Yeah. I'm lost.
Threw an extra word there.
Yeah. just seems a bit silly. PlayStation's got it nailed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go.
Oh, madness.
Yeah.
Fancy just numbering them as you went along.
They should have called it Xbox A, B, C, D, and E. Yeah.
There was rumours after the 360, the next one was going to be called the 720, wasn't there? But it was just like,
no.
Nope,
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Does that mean the next one's going to be called 2? Nope. Guess again. Oh, for fuck's sake! Oh God!
Oh no!
Get the swear jar out.
Automatic suspension. That is for one episode.
That's 3 times now.
On behalf of Potty Mouth Gernaldini, I would like to apologise for any offence that he's called.
I might as well go all out here. You said shit last week. Just let that be known.
But I'm allowed to.
And you clearly thought about it as well.
No, I said it for effect.
So that's my hat trick now, definitely. That's 3 times.
There's a slight difference there.
Swiftly moving on.
Yeah, it's been great because we filled in all this time that I will be talking about games I played this week, because I haven't played anything. As I said, I've looked at a lot of games this week. I've played very little, so I've been doing a lot of filming this week. So it's been
so have I as well.
Yeah, I haven't put much. I've just put much out, but I've been doing a lot of filming, so that sort of taken up my time in the evenings. I hadn't really had a chance to do it. Tired as well. Been a long slog this year, so I'm just waiting 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks now to Christmas, which is not finished, and then I don't know where it's gone this year. I really don't.
I know. It's just a blur, isn't it, this year?
It is really. It
good.
is.
Clear off.
Just a miss year.
I mean, it's affected a lot of people in a lot of different ways, you know, and I think we'll all be glad to see the back of it. But I just get to that point now where I just want to sort of like get the Christmas, finish for Christmas,
and play some games.
7 days off. Well, I don't know if I play any games. I've got I always say that. I think, I'll do that this year. I'll do that, and maybe getting all stuff out again and putting it all away again. I don't know. But anyway, so I played absolutely nothing. So I can't really add anything this week. Like I said, I've looked at a lot of games. Spent a lot of time on a lot of nights this week on eBay just poking around stuff. And you get drawn into that, don't you? I've worried about it. I'm not buying anything. I'm not sort of spending me. Gets drawn in. I better have a quick look in case something else has come up, just in case. And then you sort of find yourself generally sort of staring at the same stuff you've been looking at for the past 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that's true. I keep looking for Cauldron 2 on Silverbird range, and the amount of different keywords that I've put in hope that just a slight change in a keyword might bring it up from somewhere in world, but no,
I can't do it like that. I just have to sit there and just sort of scan through stuff and see what's there. Because if I think if you go looking, it's like if you go out shopping, you're looking for something specific. It sort of takes the fun out of it. Yeah. And if people have seen that is stuff I've just sort of fallen across by accident.
Yeah,
these people. Sorry, I realise I think you've done this in the past, but like a lot of people, they'll go to a CX store, but they'll check what that store's got, in stock online first, and then go to the store and then try and find it. I can't do that. I love going in CX, not knowing what I'm going to find. And even when I do like my CX challenges on the channel, I literally was like, no, don't look, just go. That's where the fun is.
Yeah, I tell you why I do that. Sorry, I tell you why I do that, and that's just because if I have a bad day through my usual channels, charity shops and anything, if I've then got a list from CX that I know they've got in, I know I can at least go and get something in there to go home with. So that's why I do it. But I don't sort of. It's like if I went down to Worcester or something, which is like a 30-mile here, and I don't want to go all that way and walk around Worcester and come back with nothing. So I'd always want to make sure that I know what CEX I've got in Worcester to take with me, and then I thought I can go and pick those up if I don't get anything else. That's how I do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're after a specific game, then I suppose at least it's a good tool to have. But
or if I'm going to go out at a weekend, I do whenever I go out. I always just like sometimes I'll just look through a couple of the CEX local stores I'm going to. I'll just write down something that they may have that I haven't got. Oh, I haven't got that one, sort of thing. They've got anything else, I'll pop in and pick that up. At least I've got something. So
yeah, true.
Anyway, we'll move on to this week's topic of the week as we sort of managed to fill 50 minutes nearly. We managed to do that. Jeez, we were struggling to string 3 sentences together before we came on.
We didn't expect Sean to play more than COD. That's what it was. It screwed us over.
Yeah. It's the tNb gaming podcast starring Sean and also featuring Rob and possibly Russ as well. It's great. That's great. I'm really pleased you come with all that stuff because it's interesting to see what sort and the Crash stuff and that's been playing Crash and that's great. So this week's topic of the week then, folks, which was decided again as we always do in typical tNb fashion about 5 minutes before we came on there, is evolving games, not revolving games. I've written it down correctly. Evolving games which have evolved. Go on then, Rob, because you brought this up before we came on.
Well, it's kind of like you can start with the obvious ones, can't you? Obviously, you've got Sonic, you've got Mario. They both started, 2D side scroller, 16-bit, or 8-bit.
We're talking case. how games evolved through series,
and to what they are now. I mean, Mario's obviously had a very good ride, and Sonic's has been very bumpy. But I mean, the one thing that triggered that's just evolution in appearance. But then sometimes you've got evolution in complete style of gameplay, and obviously, the one that brought this sort of idea into my head was talking about Grand Theft Auto. Obviously, started the GTA 1 and 2 were both, the top-down style, driving around, and it slowly turned into a full open world game, hasn't it? Which has become obviously
Did you play any of the
ridiculously
original
popular.
ones?
Yeah, I played the original 2, and I even had the London add-on for the first one as well.
I played the first 2, but I never had never got the London add-on.
Yeah, obviously you needed the first game for it, and the funny thing about that one is it's another one of those games that had sort of a programming accident which turned into something sort of what made the game really fun. Is that when they programmed the game, they accidentally made the police basically nuts, in their own words. They made them too overzealous, but when they tried it out, it was so much fun that they just actually left it as it was. So yeah, that's what they did in the original, and of course they basically triggered the success that it's got today. I mean, we all know in that original, certainly in the original one, perhaps even in the modern ones, you got the cheat for all the weapons, and you just went around blowing buildings and cars up and just driving people over, rather than actually sticking to the missions. Well, I did, and a lot of people did. This,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just evolved into a proper, phenomenon, really. When you think about the fact that GTA 5 has been started on the 360 and PS3, and now they're upgrading it for the Series X and PS5. It's still going.
Yeah.
So it's outlasted a whole generation, that one game.
I mean, when you mentioned at the start about sort of like Mario and Sonic as well, it sort of splits people, doesn't it? Because some people prefer 2D Sonic, and 3D Sonic is generally regarded as being not very good, although there are, good games in that series.
I like Sonic Adventure. I've got to be honest with you, I do. But I know some people aren't keen on it.
I like, Sonic Colors. I like Sonic Generations, which I think brings the two together perfectly well.
I say you saved yourself for Generations there after Colors.
You are?
But I said you saved yourself a bit after Colors, really?
Oh, I like Colors, yeah.
Someone has to. No.
Yeah, well, that's it. Someone has to appreciate it. But
that's another revolution. Obviously, to keep them going and keep them fresh, they've obviously had a go at 3D each. I mean, those characters, they do everything, so those characters are always going to survive. But then you've got games in history which have, gone 1, 2, 3 and done the same thing, and that was it. We haven't had another game, and everyone's going, what? Everyone talks about rebooting a series they loved as a kid that hasn't had a game for X amount of years, and that's why they stopped, because they never really changed. Kept on doing what they did best, and until it got tiresome, I suppose. Or they thought, this can't keep going on, it can't keep selling as well as it has done. I mean, for me, the perfect evolution of sort of actually evolving and staying the same is got to be fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. They've both done it. I mean, the original Street Fighter is awful. It's horrendous. Everyone forgot about the first Street Fighter. It was just,
That's what I couldn't understand, why there was this great hoo-ha about Street Fighter 2.
Because where the hell's the first one?
Yeah, I thought, the first one was crap. Why are they making another one?
But the second one was a phenomenon. You can't argue, even if you hate the series, Bear. You can't argue.
I didn't say a word.
You can't argue that it was a phenomenon. It really actually made the arcade scene massive again. It really did. It just, the character selection and the balance of it was great. But again, as it's gone on, it's, I think they failed a bit with Street Fighter 3. I've got to be honest with you. But at the same time, they went for a new art style. And then there was the alphas as well. The art style, and that was very different, and they were brilliant as well. And then even Street Fighter 4 was a continuation, but going more 3D in appearance, I think, a little bit. And then obviously, unfortunately, I've never played Street Fighter 5 because for some reason they made that PS4 exclusive.
Did they?
Yeah, but I mean, Mortal Kombat is even more of an evolution, isn't it? Starting with their very clunky, digitized graphics.
Digitized,
and they were popular because of the. Let's be honest with you. If you look back at that game now, was it a little bit rose tinted because it's clunky as hell? But it was just the fatalities and just something you'd never seen before. So it was awesome.
Yeah.
So as 2 and 3 kind of, they evolved a bit and they perfected it a bit. It ran smoother. It played better. There was more characters and things like that. But they stuck with the digitized and it never changed. But they had a very horrible period with sort of spin-offs and things like that. And they did go to 3D effect, I think. Was it Mortal Kombat 4 where they did do that? And that was not good. But for me, for what has been sort of known as Mortal Kombat 9, was just Mortal Kombat on 360 and the PS3. That was when they got it right again. And now to look at it, the realism in Mortal Kombat 11, it's just insane. It's just absolutely insane.
Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah. But yeah, they had a rocky patch in the middle, but they got it right. They did get it right, and they've survived as well.
Mm.
When you look at other fighting franchises that haven't had such a good journey, they've always been around. Tekken as well. Tekken for 1, 2, and 3. 3, oh my god, what a game! For me, still the best in the franchise. But after that, you could argue that it never really changed much. Do you know what I was going to say until, and then I started thinking about it, and no, it didn't really change much sort of after that. Once it got to 4, 5, and 6, and we're on 7 now. But they're still going because it's hugely popular, isn't it? That survives on its popularity. But Tekken 3,
how
man.
have they evolved, Rob? Are they, graphically, is it all rendered graphics and shiny graphics now, or compared to how they used to be?
I wouldn't say there's much of a jump.
No.
After 3, 3 to 4, yeah. Even today, I don't think they jumped up hugely. But going back to evolution and sort of just and not surviving reminds me of Virtua Fighter with fighting games. They just got better. 1 to 2 was amazing. But then once they got up to 5, it was just like, yeah, you're just making the same game look pretty, and it never survived, which is a shame. I'd love to see a new one and actually do something different with it, though. But yeah, I was going to say, I can talk fighting games all night. So, I mean, has anyone got any other examples of evolving games?
Sure.
I mean, really, only one I can think of, but we've already touched on it, is Worms. How that's evolved from, a pretty very 2D turn-based, and now it's jumped on bandwagon of, like the 3D effect and real time rather than turn-based. But yeah, that's only one I can think of, really, off the top of my head.
Yeah, because you had Worms 3D as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
on PS1.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, did anybody play that? I've never played that one.
I think I did for not
translate
very
well?
long. I was like, I don't like this.
I think I've got it on. I think I got it on PlayStation and possibly Xbox.
Yeah.
Lemmings did the same thing on the PS1, didn't they? Do a Lemmings 3D as well?
Lemmings, yeah, it did.
They did the Lemmings paintball as well for some reason.
What?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
No, this might think it's a tangent, but no, it's not. And it goes back to what I said about poking on eBay. I've been looking at the same copy of Lemmings paintball for about 3 days now. It keeps cropping up in what I'm looking at, and it sits there staring at me thinking, who came up with the idea of Lemmings paintball? I've got absolutely no idea. Is that an extension of a franchise that we didn't really want? But then again, you think about Bomberman. There was a Bomberman baseball game, wasn't there? Well,
yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Oh, there's an example of a bad evolution, and that was, I think, what's his exact name on the 360, when they decided to make him look stupidly realistic, like a knockoff version of Mega Man.
Oh,
and
God,
put
terrible.
him in a 3D maze. It's a horrendous game.
Yeah.
Bomberman R or something.
What were they thinking? What were they thinking? But if you want to talk about, sort of games that evolved, I mean, the one that's blindingly obvious would be FIFA. FIFA first. FIFA first, it was isometric, wasn't it? Isometric.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
And then it moved on to, I think it was FIFA 96, which is the 3D one. The sort of virtual stadium thing, which appeared on, I think it was the 3DO or the CDI or one of those machines. I remember playing it. And then, of course, it sort of developed even further from there into sort of the full experience you have now. But any sports game has evolved from that. You could argue that the PJ Golf Series evolved from Leaderboard back on the 8-bits. And I know Sean, you'd have played probably those as well, like I did.
Oh, I used to love Leaderboard.
Oh, fantastic game, yeah. I mean, that sort of paved the way for it. But then it wasn't really until PGA Tour Golf started coming out that the PJ Series sort of developed from there into what we know it is now. Same in Madden. I mean, Madden was a different game when that started. But I suppose because they changed graphically and the technology has changed, the games have adapted to that and evolved with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was only touching on it last week, wasn't we? Really, a little bit with the But I was saying I preferred them when they were a little bit more arcadey because they weren't, they couldn't get that realism.
Yeah.
In the late 90s period when we had ISS Pro 98, one of the best football games ever, if not the best, in my opinion.
I agree.
And now they've just evolved to churning out the same thing every year, as we say. Has the evolution of the football game peaked and it's just sort of flatlined? There's an expression I've learned this year. But you could argue, seeing as we've got the expert on tonight, could you argue that COD has done the same thing and flatlined with its evolution?
Yeah, quite possibly.
I mean, maybe adding the Battle Royale, which is the first time they've done that, was an evolution.
Yeah, it's got to be classed as an evolution or anything, hasn't it? Even though it'd already been done with PUBG and Fortnite, but they've looked and just seen something that we can make a lot of money out of this, haven't they? Even though it's free, it's all the in-game purchases. I think I'd heard that they made something crazy like £1.2 billion in the last year, purely through people buying guns and packs, what they call packs. I can believe it. I must admit, I bought a few myself, and they're not cheap. Well, it's based on COD points. So if a pack's 2,400 COD points, you're talking nearly £20 to buy that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of evolution, definitely, yeah, it's took on. I mean, even the newest one, the Cold War, Black Ops Cold War. We're not sure exactly what's happening because COD Season 7 hasn't actually gone through yet. We seem to be stuck on Season 6. The time expired for it to be renewed, and they've just extended it. So there's a bit of confusion what's going to happen next. But I think they are going to integrate Cold War with Modern Warfare. Well, the Warzone part of it anyway. So, but yeah, it's without a doubt, it's definitely evolved. I mean, there's always been first-person shooters anyway, haven't there? So in terms of that, I won't say they've evolved as such. But it's more the gameplay, isn't it?
You could say they've no pun on your name, but they revived it a little bit because there's no arguing that I've heard more people talk about Call of Duty since they've done the Battle Royale thing than they have for years, because for years their way of trying to make the game, I don't know, evolve or change or be different or more appealing was just to go futuristic and do this and do that, but still churn out the sort of same product as such, with a campaign and an online mode. And everyone was just like, well, and it didn't get good. The futuristic thing didn't help COD, if you ask me, because I liked the realism behind it, and I'm sure that's why you did as well, perhaps. I don't know, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand the advanced ones. Turn me back on them, to be honest. They're horrible. I've tried them. Don't get me wrong, I've tried them. I mean, to be fair, I've only really got into COD this year, as much as I have done. Obviously, I've played all the COD games, PS2 and what have you. But yeah, I've only really sunk my teeth into it, so to speak, with COD, modern day COD. But I do think because of its evolution, it has drawn me in, so it has worked. It has worked.
You could probably argue that the fact that the one game that didn't evolve, which is why there's don't make them anymore now, is the Medal of Honor series, which was on the scene before COD.
Yeah, it was.
And
such a shame, man.
Then got overtaken by COD and never actually caught up.
No.
It was always COD or Battlefield at one period as well, so Medal of Honor got proper forgotten as well.
You nearly used that word again then, didn't you? Yeah.
Actually, I didn't. What word?
Yeah, the one you shouldn't have said earlier.
A hand on heart, I never nearly said it. I don't know why you made that assumption. I swear on my life.
Yeah, it would have gone really well then, actually. You could have used it then. I would have objected to you using it.
So you actually wanted me to? Typical. Well, yeah, what happened to Battlefield? That's done with, isn't it?
Yeah, there hasn't been a Battlefield game. No. Was it 4? I think it was a 4, last one, Battlefield 4?
Yeah, I honestly... Actually, no, there's one on the Xbox One, isn't there? And it had a female lead, and people kicked off about it because, people are.
Because people.
Because people, basically. Just stop there, really. Just because people. Yeah, there was Battlefield 5 on the Xbox One, wasn't there?
I was just thinking about the football games. I was just thinking back to something like Kickoff. Because when that came out, that was completely different as well, because most football games at that point had been sort of side-on view. With probably the exception of Tecmo World Cup, top-down one. Then Kickoff came out, and sort of not only was it a top-down view, but it also had like a scanner on the screen, so you could actually see the a layout of the pitch.
Other players.
Yeah, it was like when Sky first started putting a clock on the football, the score and the clock on the football, and everyone was sitting there going, "Now, why didn't we think of that? It's a brilliant idea." Because the first thing you do when you come in halfway through a football match, you just put the television on. You go, well, "What's the score?" Yeah, you got no idea. Now it's there. So it was when people saying, "Wow, but it's a scanner on the screen," and also the fact that it's a top-down view. So that evolved from that, and then the football game sort of evolved from there, and everybody started doing top-down. Or
they did.
Yeah, very.
We had
very
Micro Soccer, didn't we? Sensible Software.
Sensible Soccer. Yeah, that was. I mean, although that was, I suppose, from a slightly different angle, it was still sort of top-down. But, Yeah, Goal as well was the after he left Anco. He made that game for Virgin. But yeah, I mean, sort of the side-on football game sort of disappeared pretty much after that came out. That was it, and the football game evolved from there. Another one that sort of series that evolved was Pac-Man, and I do bang on about Pac-Man quite a bit, but. I mean, the way that sort of started, sort of static maze on the screen, and there were the different variations of Miss Pac-Man and Baby Pac-Man, but then Pac-Mania came out. Yeah.
Yeah, the side-scrolling platformer, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a good game, actually. I enjoyed
Pac-Man, wasn't it? Yeah. It's good, that one. Yeah. I'm not surprised how old that game actually is. I thought it was a lot. I didn't think it was old as that, but it's a really sort of old game.
Pac-Man, is it?
Yeah, it was 1984, I think it was. Because I remember it came out. Yeah, I remember it came out, and I thought it's about a 4 or 5. Because I remember when it was reading magazines, it got good reviews on some systems, but they're saying it was basically a conversion of an ancient arcade game. It was about 4 years old at that point. I didn't realise it was as old as that. But then Pac-Land, then you got Pac-Mania, which is sort of like the isometric again, sort of view of the 3D maze, and then that evolved again into Pac-Man sort of Championship, which is the current version we have now, where you've gone back to the old style, but with a new twist of how the game plays. So that sort of evolved up and down, and.
I was just going to say, because we touched on Battle Royale, didn't Eddie say something about at Arcade Club there was a Pac-Man Battle Royale?
Yes,
I was just going to say, right.
I was going to say, you were there, Sean, weren't you?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. What was it like?
I never saw it.
Oh, come on.
You never saw it?
At Biddy? Wasn't it Biddy?
I don't know. It's just one of the Arcade Club meets.
I spent all my time watching Retro Red Steve play Wonder Boy, is it? Yeah.
Well, that's a waste of your time. That's a waste of time.
I'm going to question whether it was a waste of his time or not, because it's all he ever does at home. And he goes all that way to bury it just to play Wonder Boy again. Love you, Steve. I'm only joking, mate.
Yeah. We're only pulling your leg, Steve. We love you, mate. Despite forgetting your name a couple of episodes ago, or was talking about it. Yeah, that's right. Eddie did mention it on a couple of episodes ago. Yeah, so I'd love to see that in action. I really would, but maybe one day.
Yeah, I need to see that. I've seen enough of Pac-Man this week, though. But yeah, I need to see that.
And I suppose as well, there's also again just going back to days of yore, which probably we talked about licensed game years ago, but how sort of like licensed games, just like film tie-ins, sort of evolved from platform games into sort of proper sort of full-on adventures. Because when you got a big film coming out, guarantee that someone was going to get hold of the film license, probably Ocean usually, and they would sort of create a very sort of formulaic way of converting that film into a game. So you'd have like a platform stage, a sort of driving or a shooting stage, another platform, something like that. You would evolve from there. And they got very, very lazy about it, because when they first did it, it was like, wow, this is fantastic. You're sort of capturing the spirit of the film. We now got not some sort of stupid platform game, but we've now actually got a proper sort of adventure, 5 different levels of sort of different thing. But everything just turned out like that. So the licenses after that had to adapt and stop being sort of basic. Evolve from that.
You just said about driving sections. It's just made me think of basically the evolution of driving games. Because if I give you 2 examples using the same sort of view from behind the car, you'll get what I mean. So you've got Outrun, and then you've got Daytona USA. Now they both use the same angle, but also it's the same behind the car thing. But the angle is obviously it's a bit more elevated on Daytona, isn't it?
Yeah.
But with Outrun, it's pretty much a little bit more horizontal, but still a little bit up, obviously, because you see the road ahead.
Yeah.
So, and like from pole position as well, use the same thing as well, didn't it?
Yeah,
back, you know. Yeah. No, I was just thinking like how that evolved as well. It just popped into my head when you said about driving.
I mean, Outrun and pole position, they were sprite based, weren't they? A lot of the obstacles, the side obstacles, and where scenery was sprites, because obviously Outrun uses sprite scaling, don't it? Whereas Daytona ventured into more polygon based, didn't it? Like giving it more of a 3D feel to it. So like I said, it's a good evolution that moving from sprites to polygons. I mean, they'll still use polygons in modern day gaming now. Like racing games now, is it? Yeah, is it just
unless they go for the retro style? Not really.
Yeah. What do they use now then? don't even know what they use.
Well, pretty much
evolved to now.
I was just say it's funny we mentioned Outrun because Outrun is still going, so therefore it's managed to keep sort of up with the times and evolve. Because Outrun Coast to Coast is just amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and so is the original Outrun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's done it.
But don't play Outrun Europa, Turbo Outrun because they're not as good.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it. We went from Outrun to Turbo Outrun. Let's give it a turbo boost, and it's not Outrun.
Every franchise, I suppose, at some point, has probably had its stinker. So,
but again, the most basic game I can think of that they've tried to sort of evolve. I know there's been a recent version of it, which I'll just touch on briefly, but Tetris. You don't need things like Tetris Worlds and these sort of graphic 3D Tetris or whatever. The basic premise of the game there is what people want to play, which is the block game, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
We don't need all these. I know there was this Tetris 99, which a lot of people got into, which I haven't played myself, so I can't sort of comment. But I know at the time people were sort of saying, "Oh, it's a really, really good idea." But most sort of evolutions of Tetris didn't need to happen. It just needs to be, even the games that used to come up with these like big, colourful backgrounds and things. You don't need that. You don't need it. It just doesn't add anything to the game at all.
I was only talking about Tetris game last episode, wasn't I? Because I played Tetris Effect Connected.
That's right.
That is absolutely fantastic. It uses the Tetris premise, but just adds a lot of game modes and story mode, and the most awesome music ever. You need to play that with a headset on. Trust me.
And apparently there's a shortage of the original Tetris because no one's got a copy of it.
Yeah.
From what I understand, that's still the case. If you have a copy, if you have got a copy of Tetris in the Game Boy, keep hold of it because there is a shortage.
It's a shortage in the retro gaming community on YouTube.
Yeah, some corners of the community anyway. There's a shortage of it. Oh dear.
I mean, it's weird because even though new generation consoles can evolve games massively, we updated graphics and that a lot of time, but just a simple game that looks retro is enough, and the really good games, even though, you've got this machine that can do all this evolutionary stuff, and yet we still yearn for the, the retro looking ones. That's right. Even like games such as, what on PS2, Vibribbon.
PS1
looking game, but it's PS1.
Yeah.
But what a great game. Same with Rez.
Oh, yeah, I was just about to say that. Well, what a game that is.
So, sometimes games don't need to evolve, really,
What's the one I bang on about to people that should own it on the 360? Child of Eden.
Child of Eden?
Child of Eden on the Kinect, yeah.
Or better was Connect.
Yeah, but I love that game. Brilliant little game.
And it's only 50p.
Yes. Why don't people own it? Go and buy it.
I do own it.
Yeah, I know. Well, not you, everybody else. The six other people who are still listening at this moment.
Only about a month ago, but I own it now.
Yeah. Was it really only a month ago?
Yeah, it was in my Eddie deal.
Why?
It was one of the games he chucked in for free, I think. Sorry, mate. He was like, here's a list of the cheap games. Tell me what you need, and I'll chuck a couple in for you. And I was like, all right, okay, here's what I need, and that was one of them.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good game. Again, it's like I keep banging about Ghost Squad on the Wii. It's a quid. If you got it. The one thing I just want to sort of touch on before we sort of wind up for this episode is how consoles have evolved. Because at the moment we appear to be sort of now developing consoles the size of monoliths, from what I can understand. Yeah. Sort of great big sort of hunking piece of plastic. And we the console sizes have sort of changed over the years, as well as the technology has changed over the years. So, we've gone from something like the let's say the big hunking grey plastic NES, and then sort of we're probably 15 years later we got the tiny sort of GameCube, and in between that there's all sort of different sizes to accommodate the different changes in hardware.
Mm.
Think about
Dreamcast is quite small.
The Dreamcast is very small, but it's also very noisy.
Yeah, that is true. I have to turn the TV up.
But then again, you both are going to know.
Let the neighbours know.
the Xbox, the world's heaviest console.
Well, the original one.
Yeah, the original one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it actually is. Sorry, it's on the floor next to me. Yeah. I've got all generations. Hang on a minute. Right, that's that one. 360. Yeah, 360 ain't too bad. The one. Do you know what? The Series X surprised me at how heavy it wasn't, even though it's still relatively heavy. But how I expected it to be like, trying to move a lump of lead. But yeah, I'm surprised at how light that is.
I don't know whether we should be thinking consoles should have got smaller by now because of the advances in technology. Think about think about the Mega Drive one or the PlayStation one, where they're able to bring down a cut down version of that.
Yeah, slim version.
Because you're taking stuff out of there which wasn't really needed. And I think the same with the Wii as well. We had a mini version.
I mean, the next PS5 will get smaller because obviously I think the reason why the PS5 is so big is because they need all the stuff in there to keep it cool. They'll develop something which will be smaller and will keep it cool as efficiently as the big huge chunk that's in there now will. So that's why we get that's why you get the PS2, 3, and 4 Slims and Pros and things like that, because they develop it gets smaller. It's always like that with the original console. But just to talk about console evolution is, let's be honest with you, this has got to be the last run of them, isn't it? How much more can you go now? I mean, have they not peaked? Can you get any quicker than it beating you turning your TV on?
Yeah.
Can it get any more powerful?
It will be linked into your brain. So it will patch into that. So when you're coming in through the door or you're coming home from work and you think, I fancy a quick game of FIFA 37 tonight. And then when you're doing that, it'll automatically have it turn on as soon as you open that door. As soon as you put your fingerprint on the door to open it up, because we don't have keys in the future, it'll be there waiting for you.
Sorry, can I just say I stopped buying FIFAs at 13. All right,
you bought them afterwards only because they're worth a bit of money.
They were cheap. They're part of a full set, but I haven't bought a new FIFA beyond anything for the 360. But just by the way, you could turn your Xbox on without touching anything when you had the original Kinect for the Xbox One, because you could just say Xbox on as you walked into your room. So, yep. So yeah, you'd walk into rooms to say it, because the funny thing about it is people would be watching TV, and I think one of the adverts for Xbox have people in it saying Xbox on. So people would be watching that advert without their Xbox on, and their Xbox
I think you're right.
turn on. Yeah, so they had to stop that. But yeah, just saying, how much more can you go? Because we're all saying that this evolution of consoles doesn't look a lot different from the last, but it runs smoother, it runs faster, it loads faster. So, how much more can we go? How long is this series of consoles going to be around before you need to think about another one? I mean, what was the gap? I don't know what the gap was between the One and the Series X or the PS4 and 5.
Probably 13? About 6 years, 5-6 years, something like
that. Yeah, but there was a lot more between the 360 and One, wasn't there? That was a longer time. Was that a long time period? But when are we going to need to step up again? I can't see. I mean, they'll find a way. They probably will find a way, you know. I just can't see it. I don't know how they can get on more than this. So, I mean, yeah. Do you think the PS5 can evolve in the future to a PS6 and change, Sean? Like actually improve on what they're doing now? Because that's what I've just been talking about, saying that the jump up just cannot change that much more. Will we need another generation? Will we need one?
I don't know, to be honest, because like you said, at what point does have we peaked? And I reckon we must be pretty close now. I mean, these new machines, the Xbox Series X and PS5 are running silly amounts of polygons or whatever they do. I mean, crikey, can they get any faster? Well, obviously they can get faster, but is there any need? Because, graphics are just looking amazing already. Towards back end at PS4's life, we're still seeing really nice looking games, realistic looking games. The PS5, once developers start to get a grasp of the machine and its tricks that it can do, we're going to have, even better looking games if that is possible. I don't know. It's kind of hard to comprehend, isn't it?
Do you know what else I've just thought of? Is that every generation of consoles from a certain point onwards has had sort of a mid-range generation. I don't know how to word it. Like the Xbox One had the Xbox One X, and the PS4 had the PS4 Pro. So what if these guys then make a PS5 Pro and an Xbox Series X? God knows what the hell are you going to call that? Then you're not going to need another. Surely you can't need another generation if they make another sort of add-on or another update to these. Man, honestly, it'll be interesting if they ever do.
I think what you'll probably find is that there will be another one of these machines because, one, they still can't do people's faces properly. And two...
That's developing the game.
Yeah, but two, what you don't know is that inside these new consoles is a chip, and at some point in the future, they're going to download a patch overnight. Then when you come down in the morning, your PS5 will automatically morph into a PS6. So you won't need to buy another one; it'll just already be there. Yeah. And then a day later, you get a bill for £850 in the post.
And the Xbox Series X will be the Series XX, will it?
Yeah.
Or the Series XL.
These are something that keep you awake at night, possibly. Yeah. Maybe it's just me, I don't know.
Here's a question for the comments section. What will the next range of Xboxes be called? Is it possible to call it something else? Come up with your weird and wacky names.
Yeah. I can't believe it's not Xbox. I don't know, something like that. Yeah.
But like you're saying, Russ, that they can't do faces properly. So say we get to PS7, right?
Oh God,
and it can do faces properly, right?
Yeah,
it can do them exactly how a real human being does. What then?
Well, probably,
that is it. That's it, isn't it? That's the limit.
Well, I think these are things probably on a 5 or using a 5 or a 6 year cycle. So by the time I get to PS7, I'm going to be another 10 years older. I probably wouldn't give a toss at that point, to be honest with you. I'll be lucky if I can see the television when I get to that point. So, but no, on a more serious point, at some point you are going to hit in the future at what point does this now go any further? How far can they take this? And VR is there to sort of bring that experience into that experience. And from those people who I know have sort of played those games, are sort of saying, "Wow, this is really, really good." You're almost in the game yourself. So how much farther can we go? And then if we get that far, where do we go after that?
But isn't a VR just an add-on using what the console's capable of? Actually, an upgrade. It's just a peripheral, really. with a game made for it.
But it's providing people with an experience where they actually sort of believe they're in the game.
Yeah, but it's not a console upgrade. It's just a peripheral using the current console. That's what I mean.
Is there still demand for VR? Have we? I to be honest, I looked at it as a gimme.
I hate VR.
And I haven't heard much about it lately.
No, I haven't heard much about it, to be honest. No. It'll be like 3D. It'll be bad and then sort of go. Also, as well, I think a very interesting point to make. I've been watching The Mandalorian lately. If you haven't watched it, I thoroughly recommend it. But also, looking into the future, people don't seem to have televisions anyway. You watch all these futuristic science fiction programs. Yeah. No one's got a television. So it's not going to make any difference. Bring out the PlayStation 8. I don't really care. And in 150 years' time, mate, no one's going to remember it anyway. No. It's gone. People don't have televisions in the future. It's all barren wastelands and sort of like close-knit communities. Like the Walking Dead with lasers. That's what it's going to be like. Yeah.
I think they should push holodecks. In Star Trek. And them holodecks where they go in and they actually immerse properly into it. That's the next thing they should come up with. That reality. Could you imagine?
Well, we don't know where it's going to go, do we? I mean, but I mean, I think I very much agree. At some point in the future, you're going to sort of think, well, the lines are going to be that blurred between what is reality. What can you create on a computer or through a console or something like that, which practically is real life. Yeah. We won't know until we get there. No. They'll probably milk it out for another couple of sort of releases, and by the time we get to the PlayStation 9, they might release it then if we're lucky.
What's the Xbox called by then?
The Xbox Mondeo. 2.0, yeah.
2.0 XL.
Yeah.
S.
Gear.
Reloaded. EX plus alpha. Sorry.
Oh dear me. Right, I think on that note we'll bring it to a close. But again, everybody sort of listening to the live chat or in the comments below, leave us what your other thoughts and opinions on what you've heard tonight. I'd like to hear what they say, and that's been an interesting discussion. Really, I think it's a lot better than I thought we were going to get going to start with when we were trying to work out what we'd done. But I think it's interesting times ahead. But then again, I don't think anything's changed. I think even though everything has evolved, things probably now look a bit shinier and sound a lot better. Yeah. Basic premise is still there. The game's still played the same. Basic game from 40 years ago or the most up-to-date game now, whether it's evolved from that to that, as long as the core element is there, which is the gameplay, which keeps people coming back to it, that's all you need. And the gameplay shouldn't really evolve there in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've really enjoyed that tonight, and hopefully everybody else has done so listening to it. Before we finish, I just want to bring up our next episode, which will be episode 28, and will be our Christmas special, our first Christmas special, which will be going up in a couple of weeks' time. Hopefully, we'll have everybody, if not everybody's available, hopefully most will see here to talk about all things Christmassy. So that's probably where, people do enjoy Christmas, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think we need to, a wind down episode will probably be our last episode of the year anyway. That'll be a couple of weeks' time, probably Sunday the 20th, I think it is. Christmas special there. Probably great Christmas memories from gaming related incidents. You can remember them, because some of us are getting on a bit now, to be honest with you. Myself especially, so let's see how we get on with that. But I just want to finish by saying thank you very much indeed to tonight's panel. Thank you very much to Sean, Retro Games Revived.
Thank you very much, mate. Enjoyed it.
Good. I'm glad to have you on, mate. Hopefully you'll be back for the Christmas special.
I will, mate. I will.
You're the happiest man on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Be with us once
busy
again.
The next couple of nights, though. He's got to prepare, all right, but he'll be available.
That's why we're doing the Christmas special on the 20th. Because he's going to be busy for a few days afterwards, isn't he? Oh dear, be coming down my chimney. As long as he keeps his social distance, he's wearing a mask. I don't mind. Also, as well, thank you very much indeed to Gernaldino plays Rob.
Thank you all, and ciao for now.
That new catchphrase for 2021.
Mix up a little bit.
For now.
I would work on it a bit, mate. It needs a bit of work, that one.
All right, and as always, please do take care.
That's it. Now we know it's him. That's great. And this is the Retro Bear saying, take care and bye for now. So I always say that at the end of my videos. Saying thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks for listening wherever you are, whatever you're doing, wherever you may be in the world. I'll have an episode along in a couple of weeks' time. But until we speak to you again, from everybody here, like we said, do take care, do stay safe. We'll talk to you again very, very soon. Bye for now.